Hi, welcome to this week's edition of Abide TV. And this week I want to talk about something that I'm sure most of us have found ourselves facing, and that is when you get ready to have your time with God and just get alone and seek His face in prayer and get into His Word, whether you have that time first thing in the morning or in the afternoon or right before bed, it can still be a challenge either way. And that is when you wake up in the morning and you're groggy, you're tired, and you're just not quite there, to be ready to focus on the Lord, or you're having your quiet time at the end of the day and you've had a busy day full of different activities and responsibilities, and it's hard to click out of that mindset of just facing the daily responsibilities of life and switching into gears and really concentrating upon the Lord. Or if you're just getting up in the morning, to really kind of get yourself awake and focused upon the Lord. I think one thing that we miss out on is sometimes we just want to just rush into God's presence. He'll start praying or start reading His Word, and we don't really take that time to focus. Now, think about one thing that your church probably does, and sometimes we misunderstand why it's done, and that is what's listed in your bulletin as the prelude. And the purpose of the prelude, sometimes we like to think of it as, okay, we hear the music starting, now it's time to kind of find our seats. The purpose of the prelude is to really have that time to sit down, focus your heart on the Lord, and prepare yourself for worship. And we can do the same thing as we have our daily time with God, and that is take some time just to worship God, to set aside the things of the world, to set aside the cares, and just really focus your heart on the Lord. And one easy way to do that is just through some worship music. Listen to 2 or 3 worship songs or more, depending what kind of time you have. There's a lot of great worship CDs out there, a lot of great resources to help you with that. I think one great CD that's out right now that I would really encourage you to get, and not trying to do a commercial for it, but is Jeremy Camp's new worship CD, We Cry Out. One of the best worship CDs there is. To listen to a few songs. And let me clarify that, and not just listen to it, but engage your heart in the worship that's happening through the music. And I think we fall into that same trap when we come to church. You get to sing through the songs and just move on with the service. But to actually focus your heart on what you're singing, what's being said, to focus your heart on worshiping God, to focusing on who He is, to giving Him the praise and the worship that is due His name. I know there's been a lot of times for me where I'm ready to have my time with God and just mentally just not quite there and distracted or whatnot, and you can kind of plow into it, but it's just not what it should be. And sometimes just taking those few minutes to lift up my heart and worship before the Lord, using some worship CDs, can really help focus your heart and greatly impact the rest of the time you spend with God. So I would really encourage you to try that for the next week, to begin your quiet time with a few worship songs and lifting your heart up to God, and see what the difference that makes as you focus yourself upon Him through worship, through prayer, and through reading His Word. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, abide in Christ.